Good morning. Running a little late today. Oh, it's been a tiring last few days. Come on in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Scooch in here. Come on in. If you're wondering what I'm putting on, it is Dolly's lip gloss. Oops, I dropped it. Dolly's lip gloss. As you're coming in, today's live is brought to you by Dolly's lip gloss. Silky and smooth from Dolly herself. Straight from Dollywood. It's Dolly Beauty High Gloss Lip Gloss. Has a really cute lid. Yeah. I earn an entire dollar if you buy one. Please support the channel and buy some Dolly lip gloss today. Nope, it's smooth. It's silky and smooth. Oh my goodness, come on in. Good morning, everybody. It is so good to see you this morning. We made it to Friday. Yes, it does come packaged really cute with really cute paper. It really does. Happy Friday.
I view this weekend, but it's going to be talked about
Oops,
on the
I
Hill
pressed
because they're
Fox
worried
News.
about the midterm.
Excuse me. I'm talking about Dolly's lip gloss here. Thank you, Miss Terry. Thank you. What's up, Katie? Thank you, Crystal Pistol. No, it comes like that. Isn't that so cute? Dolly makes that for you. You feel so special when you use it. Yeah, it's very pretty. Come on in, guys. 260 folks in here. Of course, we're going to talk about Nancy, but I do have to sponsor the live. So if you want lip gloss, one more time, last call for Dolly lip gloss. Dolly. Aw, thank you, Brooklyn. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate you so much. Somebody purchased one. Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much. My lips are dry, but what's up, Butterfly Angel? You have to keep doing that so TikTok don't flag you. Oh man, Gary Wayne Sutton. Let's free him. Miss Carolyn's in the room. I think I'm going over on Sunday.
Yeah, well,
I think I might be. Butterfly Angel, you just reached level 30. Level 30. That's awesome. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh my goodness. Good morning, off the 323 souls in the room already. Come on in. If you got a heart me, please send it. It helps to get folks in here. Then you can claim your points and level up. Thank you, Anita. Tapping is clapping. Mama! Oh my gosh. That is so freaking cute. Oh my gosh, I just felt like I took a trip to the beach. Let's go get away. No, say what I'm gonna say. Anyway. Thank you for that. Good morning, Jam and Jelly. Thank you for your heart meme. Yes, we're gonna do this again because it's so freaking cute. And you all have already done like almost half the goal already. 500 of me's. That's so cute how they done that. I'm so in love with it. So in love with my friends that I'm making up a song that never ends. No, I'm not. I wouldn't do that to you. Thank you, Gary Wayne Sutton Page. Thank you. Good morning, Kirsty. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Florida Mama, Kentucky, all of you for sending me's and me's. Thank you, Butterfly Angel. Thank you. Hey, Kentucky girl. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning, Christy. Thank you for your follow, boy mama. 3 people bought the gloss. Thank you. Good morning back. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, good. You bought 2 of them? Oh, Tina, thank you. It's so pretty. And of course, I have Adriana Nicole's eyeshadow on. Adriana Nicole. Oh, thank you for the coffee. Good morning to you. Good morning. Thank you, Gary Wayne Sutton Page, for sending me me's. Oh gosh, no update this morning. Other than the mysterious white van, and we're going to talk about that. Thank you. Thank you, Tatted. What's up, friend? I see Shannon in here. Good morning, Tina. Good morning. Good morning. So you're like, stop singing. Stop it with it. Stop. Listen. This is the weirdest thing I have ever covered in my life. We're awaiting trial for him. You're talking about Mickey Steins. Yeah. We're just waiting. He's still wanting to plead insanity. Get his charges reduced to a manslaughter charge. Hey, guess what? I made it into a magazine. I made it. Made it. I'm gonna show it to you for 1 second, and then we're gonna move on. USA News. Bam! Steph's case files. Redefining true crime reporting through ethics and evidence. Make sure you go to USA News and search for that. article in the newsroom. Thank you. 2 down, 4 to go to get my blue check mark. Oh, yes. Look, Mom in heaven, I made it. Good morning, South Carolina. Thank you for your stickers. Thanks for using stickers. Laura. Hurry back, Tina. Thank you, thank you. You know, I work hard here. One-on-one interaction. Hanging with my friends. I really do feel like that. I feel like when I sit down, it's not just me storytelling, it's me hanging with my friends, having a conversation about it. Really. There's 463 of us all sitting in a room, sitting around looking at each other going, what are we going to do about this abducting situation here? We don't know what's going on here. I'm hearing what is the latest thing in regards to that is a mysterious white van. They were talking about it on live last night. That this van, the neighbors saw this mysterious white unmarked van in the days prior, and then we had a snooper. I don't know what's going on here. I'm like statically not right this morning. No, Rochelle, I really don't, because of her faith, sort of. I don't think she would do something like that. Yes. Good morning, Crafty. So here we are. What is this, day 7? Tomorrow's day 7. It'll be a week ago tomorrow, the last time that anybody saw Nancy. Hey, Dana. How's it going? A lot of this stuff is old. But, oh my God, I want to do that too. Hold on a minute. Okay. It lapsed. Well, I do have the subscription on mine. I do. And it seems like when she first asked about it, because remember, somebody found her name in a Facebook post. They found her name where she was asking about security cameras because of her interest in looking for animals. So I'm like, you probably can't look at animals, right, unless it's recorded somewhere. So I feel like she started out with the subscription, but somehow over time and at the end of the day, it just didn't get paid or whatnot. And they don't have a camera. Now that I don't know. Thank you, Tina. If I was 84 or I had a mom that was 84, I would probably make sure at that point I would make sure all of her bills were being paid. They are super fun. I think TikTok's trying to level up their game. Nest. So hers is by Nest, excuse me. Yes, Nest. Kids Observatory area. What is that? you have a 74-year-old mother that you make make sure her bills are paid and cameras on. Good morning. Good morning, Riss Ross. You know you make me wanna. Riss Ross is in the house. Divine Goddess. Yeah, thank God. Okay, so can we talk about the plea? I'm seeing some conspiracy theories in the comments. Because somebody said it was from a part of Silence of the Lambs. Now, I don't know about that. Tell me which part and I'll pull it up. I'd like to hear it. But I do have something for you to listen to. Now, I commented on this video that it's a common phrase. This is a common phrase. You know what? I didn't bookmark it. Dag nabbit. Let me see if I can find it again. I thought that I had bookmarked that. Here it is. Okay, so hold on. This is the Silence of the Lambs ones. I watched this too. Let's listen because there's somebody else who pulled a line from Barbara Walters' acceptance speech at an award show, and there was a line said just like it, but it's a common phrase. Thank you, Becca. Thank you so much, friend. I appreciate that. Talk to her and you will see. Right, that's the phrase we're looking for, okay? But I'm like, talk to her and you'll see. I mean, I probably could pull a few Little House on the Prairie episodes that say that, right? It's a pretty common phrase. But listen to this.
Was weird to begin with. Wait till you hear this. And I'm not talking about her husband potentially or being in the Epstein files. This is something totally different. This is about the press conference yesterday. Did you guys see the press conference that was held where Savannah was sitting there? I think it was with her siblings and reading a letter to, I guess it was the people that sent the ransom note. That's what I'm talking about. And before anybody gets bent out of shape, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just merely pointing something out, okay? And this comes from a friend who has a photographic memory and was watching this press conference yesterday and literally got chills when Savannah said this line, because when she heard it, she was like, oh my gosh, that exact line was said in a movie and in the same tone and everything. So I went and I found the movie clip, and I have the clip of the press conference yesterday. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. And what I found odd, other than that, is after the line is said, the way that Savannah just pauses and kind of looks at the camera. So here, take a look at the video.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
Talk to her and you'll see.
Now, I don't know why she had to lower the voice. Why is Barbara Walters? Was she in that show? I'm confused. Because this is the one that I watched, and I'm like, I don't understand this. Literally a coincidence. They do. And I'm like, I commented on this very video, and I said, look, that's a common phrase. It's like, come up here and you'll find out. It's just a common phrase. So, no, I don't believe it was copied. I believe that it's a common phrase. It's Diane Sawyer. I thought it was Barbara Walters. Well, hold on a minute. No, who the... Hold on a minute.
I mean, without revealing kind, talk to her and you see.
Literally help them write that and it's just common. Yeah. Sure, they got help with that. Oh, yeah. Sure, they did. So I don't think it come from Silence of the Lambs. I think it come from, it's a common phrase. I think they got help from authorities and all of that. Yeah. Yeah. They're experts on how can you make it, personable. How can you make it about me and you, and get them to look at her like a human and not a way to get assets. Hi, Sarah. You do? Thank you. Today's live goal is I'm going to make something. I'm going to do this awesome. Let's see if we can do it. I don't know if we can. We're just going to try. We're just going to try. So this is available for super fans only. I believe that's what it's saying. So if you are one, I'm going to try to make this a goal. I know tapping that thing 1,000 times is crazy, but let's see if we can do it. I don't know if we can do it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Amberlynn. Thank you, Fire. Thank you, Tina. Oh, it does let anyone send it? It was like for super fans only. I was like, oh my. Maybe it's for fan club. Like if you send your heart me, then you become a fan club. Then you can send it. Thank you, Miss Cheryl. That's so cute. Thank you. Oh man, we're already halfway to that goal. That's crazy. Thank you for all the interaction. 724 souls in here. We already have 65,000 likes. That's crazy. Let's see if we can make it to 100,000 likes. Now, what has happened this morning? No clue. I'm here at News Nation hitting the refresh button. I'm hitting the refresh button over at Fox News. It is 2 hours. It is 9 a.m. their time. Me too. And I about had a heart attack. I was in trees, just hanging out on the panel, just hanging, kind of goofing around, relaxing for the, before I go to bed. And then somebody came in and was like, you got to get over to doors right away. And I was like, throw down, something's going on. And then it just so happened that white van, 867 was like, this is happening right now. And we thought they had shut down the entire road in order to figure out this mysterious white van that they had just got done describing. But I think that was coincidence as well. And I think there were a couple of cops' lives lost in that, so keep them in your thoughts. What do I think that they meant by the second deadline? Well, if the Bitcoin part is true, they may give them a second chance depending on the complexity of the Bitcoin exchange. But here's the thing. We are already past deadline. We are already past the first deadline. And I don't know how many in here did not hear the new Instagram plea from the brother that he done last night. If you have not, if there's people in here who have not heard it, then I'll play it. Who has not heard it? Lisa hasn't. Leah. Maddie. Okay.
Rapid fire times. We're all so close.
So Cameron Guthrie came out last night with his own video and plea, and it's not very long.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
So it was a short video, really just saying, look, you want our attention, but you have it, you have had it, but we don't know how to get in contact with you, you know? So that's part of the problem. Oh my God, you guys did that go. Thank you. Thank you. How about I make us some goals of Happy Friday, since today's Friday. Friday. We will pin that. If you would like to send a Happy Friday, please do so. Thank you, Sarah. It goes, thank you for your heart, me mom. It goes to support the platform and what we do here. Thank you for your TGIF, Kara. If you can't, tapping is a clapping and a sharing and a comment is all interactions. And if you are in this room right now and do not follow me, please do so. It's free to do. Okay. So we wait. If anybody is live from any sort of scene there, let me know. I will go there for you. I will go there. Didn't the abductor say no talk, send the Bitcoin, so they don't want nothing traceable? Yes. And I have to say on that, I think they got pissed. I'm just going to be honest with you. When the Bitcoin wasn't sent right away. And they may not ever hear from them again. Or mom. You know, they may discard of mom and put her somewhere. May take a minute to find her. I'm hoping that they are not that kind of abductor. I didn't. Do you guys want to watch Ashley Banfield from 9 hours ago? If so, I will hook you up and we'll watch it together. 100,000 likes. You guys want to watch it? Okay. As long as you understand that I have to comment through it, or I'll get flagged and took down because TikTok say that I'm not interacting. And I'm not going to I just have to say, oh my God. And can you believe that? And you go, girl, every now and then. Okay. I'll be right back and I'll get my other stand. No, you ain't, Michael. Michael, you was in here yesterday and you're just as broke today as you was yesterday. I'm blocking you. Stop trying to break my flow here, yo. Okay. What's up, Laura? Bye, Michael. Watch Keep. I've kind of had that same feeling myself. Hi, Jessica. Oh, Lord. Okay, let me come in at, under my other account, which I named something dumb for no reason ever. Happy Friday. Thank you, Darla. Thank you for that, ma'am. Oh, my God. We've already got 4 Happy Fridays. You guys are rocking it out today. Thank you for all of that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the Happy Friday, Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. Uh-oh, Leslie's throwing down right now. Thank you, Kendra, for sending 2530 of me. Aw, Huggles. Did you change your name back to Huggles? Throw down. Throw down if you did. Throw it down right now. Happy Friday! Who did it? I seen it in the corner of my eye. Valerie, Leslie. Live freaking go freaking a freaking cheese day. Thank you. Thank you for that. What are we going to do next? How about a good morning? We done a happy Friday. Now let's tell each other good morning. Okay. Now I'm in as me. Hello, me. Okay. Now I got to find Ashley. About what I was doing there for a second.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. It has been a hell of a day. I don't know if you caught my last episode.
Okay. So this is the one from 9 hours ago. Let me get my camera on. This takes us a hot second here.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. And what a day! This is day 5 of one of the more tragic stories that I think any family could ever go through. Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, Today Show co-host, still missing, presumed alive because there's no other information to go on, according to the sheriff. But this story is complex, it is mysterious, it is tragic, it is frustrating on many levels.
No kidding.
A lot happened today. I'm going to get you up to speed on many things, including the heat that I'm taking for my reporting. Several days ago, I got a pretty big break on this case from an impeccable source in law enforcement, high-level law enforcement, who told me that several things had happened in this case, not the least of which cameras were smashed outside of Nancy's home, 2 of them, right? Also, that Nancy's daughter Annie's car had been towed and was in evidence. And I am going to use specific language here because my source told me, quote, son-in-law may be prime suspect. And, you know, big pushback from Sheriff's Department in Pima County, and I get it, saying at this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. That was a printed statement. And the sheriff, Chris Nanos, also went hard on that today in a press conference. But I want to break that down for you because there were several points in that press conference where language was very, very nuanced. And I also saw a couple of places where there were not denials of some of my reporting. So we're going to go through that all in a minute. More importantly, there are a couple of big news items today as well. An arrest of whomever allegedly decided that it was a good idea
Thank you, Leslie.
to insert himself into the Guthrie's tragedy and try to make money. Okay, allegations are pretty severe for this guy, and the punishment will be probably swift and furious. I'll get to that as well. Somebody who was a faker who sent one of the ransom notes. That doesn't mean that all of the ransom notes have been cleared yet. There's news on that as well, and very interesting news on that, especially since Savannah Guthrie's brother, Cameron Guthrie, late this evening decided to release a post on Instagram again, much like his sister Savannah did yesterday. It is a specific request for whomever might be this kidnapper who sent a ransom note to please communicate. And obviously, proof of life is top of their minds. Have a listen to this.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
You should know the FBI is heavily involved in this case now, especially as concerns these alleged ransom notes, right? And the ICAC also heavily involved in this case. Important because that's the International Crimes Against Children Task Force, but don't think of this as crimes against children. They do a lot with kidnapping and a lot with tracking kidnappers. So they were the ones that carried the ring light in and the iPhone tripod to help the Guthrie family record Savannah's statement on Instagram yesterday. Perhaps they also helped Cameron with his tonight. But
someone in the comments, thank you, Sarah. And Battles RS is me, so if you send a gift to that account, I get it as well. Somebody is saying in the comments the Inside Edition is reporting this morning that Tomasio is a prime suspect. Okay, so now we have Ashley Banfield, and in addition to that, Inside Edition. Now, I don't know if Inside Edition is reporting what Ashley is, or they got information of their own, but I just wanted to tell you guys that.
The thing that the FBI said in the press conference today that was so interesting about kidnappings and ransom was that kidnappers typically are much quicker to the gate with the demands, and the communications don't usually just end with the initial request, right? The demands are typically discussed. There's typically communication, and this to the FBI today was unusual, which, for what it's worth, is what they have to go on at this point. And what they said was that absolutely zero contact has been made with the Guthrie family since the ransom note went to the media. So there's a couple of different ransom stories going on. You've probably heard several. I'm just going to be as clear as I can, as clear as the law enforcement authorities have been with us. There was one that went to TMZ via email. There was one that went to KOLD TV locally in Arizona by email. And there was one that went to KGUN, another local station in Arizona. It is thought, but not 100% clear from the authorities, that those three are all the same ones from the same source.
Yeah, it is.
But there's another one. Federal prosecutors have now charged a man in California, Derek Kallela. I don't know if it's Kallela, Callela, and they are accusing him of inserting himself into this case by sending what authorities say was a bogus ransom demand to Savannah Guthrie and her family directly. They say Derek Kallela allegedly reached out directly to Nancy's daughter, Annie Guthrie, and her husband, Tommaso Cioni, asking whether, quote, the Bitcoin had been sent, end quote, and claiming that he was, quote, waiting for the transaction to go through, end quote. Let me just say, that is going to be very, very hard to defend. If someone had just sent a text and said, are you going to pay? That you could defend, because it could be a question. I feel bad for you. Are you going to pay this? But no, that is very specific. Waiting for the transaction to go through. Federal agents say the message came through a voice over internet system.
Thank you, Sandra.
That can disguise phone numbers. Congratulations. Guess what? Court records say that the digital trail was able to connect the account back to a Google email. And you know who it allegedly belonged to? Derek Kallela. So after being advised of his rights, prosecutors say that
Right.
he admitted that he sent 2 messages. And the investigators say he told them he found the family's contact information online and had been closely following media coverage as the case unfolded. And according to the FBI, the messages were not the end of it. They say he also called the family directly. So if Derek Kalela,
How did he get their number?
in fact, did this, he's in for a world of hurt, because the criminal complaint against him says he's facing 2 federal charges, allegedly transmitting communication containing a demand or a request for a ransom for the release of any kidnapped person, and also making a phone call without disclosing his identity with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass a person. And I did a little quick research, very, very cursory research here, but under California statute, a defendant who uses the internet, again, that's cross state lines, right? To extort a crime victim during an investigation has a realistic exposure to somewhere between a range of 3 to 8 years in prison, federal prison. And that's the lower end, because it can actually go up to a potential of life as a maximum if aggravated witness intimidation and criminal threats like strike priors are in play. So on the low end, 3 to 8. I mean, what kind of parasite does this? What kind of parasite?
Right.
And I think we all know there are plenty, right? And that's just one of these ransom demands. We still have, these 3 other communications that were sent via email, and they mentioned apparently floodlights at Nancy's house and an Apple Watch. Okay, Brian Enton has been out front and reporting a lot of this, but I do want to let you know that the timing of this is really interesting. So Monday is February the 2nd. Lots of
Now that's
reporting on this,
Annie's
visuals
house.
of
That's
Nancy's house.
Annie's.
The crime scene tape has
Right there.
come down, and news actually breaks. So Brian Enton actually asked the authorities in the news conference today, did the ransom note come in before all that news broke or after all that news broke, when you could see the floodlights and we knew about the Apple Watch? Have a look.
When did the first ransom note arrive? And the reason I ask is because the Apple Watch has been in the news and on social media, and you could see like floodlights on video. So was it before those things were out in the world?
I don't have the specific time frame as I sit here today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down, could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what, and following the leads on that. But I don't have the time frame that the first note came in as I sit here today.
So I can tell you right now, there was wide reporting on the Apple Watch separating from Nancy's pacemaker on Monday. And much of those communications, started arriving Monday evening. So it's entirely possible somebody just saw the news, saw the floodlights, heard about the pacemaker and the watch, and sent these notes out, just once again, trying to
Holy
insert
cow.
themselves. Is it possible there is someone holding Nancy Guthrie? They've got to go on these leads. They have to go on these leads. They have to treat it as though it's possible, which is why you're seeing these proof of life videos from the Guthrie kids. It's why you're seeing valuable law enforcement resources and time and
Embezzlement,
energy
Jen.
dedicated to this. Big waste of time if this is just some parasite, right? And it's why the sentencing range can take you up to the max. So let's turn now to the press conference, because some of the things the sheriff said today and how he said these things speaks volumes, right? There is a lot, including some of the things he said, I think, about my reporting and other people's reporting. Before I get to that, though, I do want to tell you thank you very much for watching this podcast and supporting my podcast. I can't do this without you. You mean the world to me, especially during a big story like this. And so I also need to tell you that my sponsors make this possible as well. And I am so appreciative of them as well. Joy and Blokes is one of them, and it's for us.
I'm going to be muting during her sponsoration nation. So, they're putting out bulletin boards today. Yeah. Well, during the press conference, that's the first time I had heard about, you know what I mean? Billboards. But I hope that they can. We know that the family, Savannah at the least, thank you, Heather, for the heart. Thank you for the hand heart. Can afford it, right?
The treatments include hormone therapy and peptide therapy.
Oh, wait, she's not done. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? In the sky. Musical break. Steph's case file. Steph, my grandmother's house was broke into while she was gone. She came home.
One thing the press conference gave us today definitively was that the blood that was found outside of Nancy's front door on that stoop, on those tiles, that's been confirmed. It is Nancy's blood. It is not a perpetrator's blood. It's just Nancy's blood. And they've confirmed that it is, in fact, blood. Brian Enton did that plenty well enough from News Nation, being able to actually witness it for himself. The only DNA evidence that they've gotten back is that porch blood, but the sheriff did say there's a lot more that they have out for testing, and they're still awaiting some of those results. They said sometimes it takes 10 to 20 days. They got an expedited, obviously, blood. They got that expedited, so they were able to get Nancy's results back, and that is Nancy's blood. You know, it clears it up, but it's also hard
Nancy's
to hear
blood.
They also processed the scene for biological evidence.
Sorry about that.
Still trying to process those samples as well. They didn't say which one, and they would not. They would not go into the crime scene itself. Every question everybody tried, he said, no, I'm not doing that. Let's talk suspects now, because this was my big reporting. And again, I will use the wording that my impeccable source used. Please, if you're going to disseminate this, use these words. They're the words I have used. They are the words that my sources used. Son-in-law may be prime suspect now. Okay?
I'm just kidding.
The sheriff has pushed back hard on that, saying no suspects identified at this time. No suspects identified at this time. I get it. But also said no one's being ruled out. Very strenuously, no suspects identified at this time. And even went so far as to suggest it's reckless to suggest otherwise. But I have been to this rodeo many times before. Law enforcement sometimes will be saying one thing publicly and doing something different privately. It happened with Brian Koberger, December 19th, 2022. They identified Brian Koberger as the owner of the DNA on the knife sheath. And the next day, on December 20th, the Moscow police chief recorded and posted on the police Facebook, "We do not have a suspect." Let me read it. "No suspect or suspects identified, and only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released to the public. We encourage referencing official releases and accurate, updated information." So they had Brian Koberger. They'd already followed him across the country, and then they told us there are no suspects that have been identified. So I have been through this before. I have checked with my source regularly, 3 days in a row. Nothing has changed. And what my source actually said to me today is sometimes when you're taking pot shots, you are standing right on the target. Those were the words. Sometimes when you're taking shots, you are right on the target. So for what it's worth, I stand by this reporting. I stand by this impeccable source. And I stand by the fact that some of these things in the investigation that have been released and then walked back from the sheriff's department and then changed, and I've got a few of those examples coming up, have made me feel like something may be happening differently behind the scenes than we're hearing in the press conferences. Got a great example of that with somebody who asked, "Are you actively investigating the son-in-law?" And the answer was, we're actively looking at everybody we come across in this case, at everybody. And he went on to say the Uber driver, because Nancy took an Uber over to Annie and Tommaso's house earlier that day around 5, 6 o'clock for a family evening together. And so they have connected with that Uber driver. And then he went on to list, the gardener, the pool person, everybody is a suspect in our eyes, he said. Then he said again, it would be reckless to report that someone is a suspect when they could very well be a victim. Well, if it's not true, you're absolutely right. And this is the reporting from a law enforcement source. Son-in-law may be prime suspect at this time. And then he went on to say, we just really don't have enough to say, this is our suspect, this is our guy, or this is our gal. That's a quote. We just don't know that. The family's been very cooperative. And then he said, sometimes people can be mean out there, and that can really harm us and harm our efforts. I can assure you there's no intention of being mean. Reporters come up against this all the time, especially in gag orders, especially in investigations. And the only information the public gets, or the neighbors or anybody who's worried, is what we are able to find from our sources.
Yeah.
Once again, impeccable source, have been at this game for a very long time. As for the cameras, I reported from my source that the cameras, and I'll use the words that my source used, Nest cams were smashed. And the sheriff was unusual with that today, said that the cameras were removed, said the cameras in the timeline were disconnected. And then when a reporter asked were they smashed, the answer was, quote, don't know where you got the information about smashed. We're not confirming that. Didn't say no. He didn't deny it. Also, a reporter pushed further on that and said, regarding the disconnected camera, do you believe that camera was taken? And the sheriff said, we do not have it in our possession. We have not located it. So is this semantics? The cameras were potentially smashed off of their mounts and taken because he said, we don't have them. We have not located it. And then he confirmed that there are actually two, which is what my reporting said. There were more than one. There were two cameras that were smashed. He also said that something triggered the first camera at 1:47 a.m. So that's sort of when they believe that perhaps the proximity to the house for whomever did this began. 1:47 a.m. But the camera company can't give them video of it. They just know that there was an alert activity. There's activity on the camera at 1:47 a.m. There's also activity that they didn't reported, get anybody. Even though the camera is disconnected and removed around 1:47 a.m., there's activity that is alerted at 2:28 a.m. So about 45 minutes between the first alert and the last alert on those cameras. Two camera hits. And the problem is that the information from the camera company doesn't delineate which cameras and was it an animal or was it something going by. It just says alert. Again, because Nancy Guthrie apparently didn't have the subscription to actually be able to see what was detected. It just said person detected. The software just said person detected. Let's talk about the vehicle. I reported from my source that the daughter of Nancy Guthrie, Annie, her car had been towed and was in evidence. And today, when asked about the vehicle, the sheriff said, the vehicle that was towed, that's standard. It's part of the search warrant process. It's being processed. So I think that is clear that that reporting bears out. The bizarre part of this news conference, there were a few bizarre, but one of the more bizarre parts of this news conference today was the sheriff has said to several different outlets in several different ways who dropped Nancy Guthrie off at 9:48-ish on Saturday night.
Right.
I think it was varying stories.
Annie
or Tommaso, or Annie and Tommaso. And so the reporters asked for clarity. What was it? Was it one, the other, or both who were the last people to drop Nancy off and see her? And the answer was alarming. Just family. We're going to go with family. That was what the sheriff said. Just family. We're going to go with family.
Okay.
New York Times was told by the sheriff that the last person to drop off Nancy Guthrie was Tommaso, Annie's husband, Tommaso. I don't know why he wouldn't say the same thing during the news conference or clear that up, but he decided to say just family. We're going to go with family.
Okay.
As to forced entry, he
it was
didn't
him.
say
dropped her off.
There was or there wasn't, and I reported there was forced entry. That came from my source. He said, I don't know where that comes from. Whether there is or isn't forced entry, that's something we're not discussing. So again, doesn't knock it down, doesn't confirm or deny. So a reporter asked, was this targeted? And the answer that was given is that's why we have the FBI. Maybe it is a kidnapping, he says. And yet on Monday, when I interviewed the sheriff, he said definitively to me, it is a kidnapping. I'm not sure why they're hedging on that. And he said, we don't have anything to rule that out. Again, I'm not sure why they're hedging.
We need one more
Many
snow
of us were told
cone.
it is an abduction. It is
Or
a
our flash
kidnapping.
go.
And as far as motive, the sheriff said, my guesswork is as good as yours. The FBI also said there's nothing to indicate that Nancy was taken because she is Savannah's mom. That's interesting. So nothing maybe in these ransom letters says, I know
Thank you,
that
Katie.
you've got this, you know,
Thank you.
national news anchor who's very successful with NBC behind her. Nothing suggests that according to the FBI. So the investigation and the strategy, the FBI said that they've looked through banks, social media, phone companies. They're looking through the digital footprints. They're still going door to door and asking questions and asking for ring cam. They have contacted pharmacies to find out if maybe, please God, they have gotten her the life-saving medication that she needs, but there's been nothing so far. And they are not communicating with the Mexican authorities. This is very close to the border. There's been a lot of talk about the Border Patrol, but this was definitive. They do not think that she was taken out of the country. They do not think that she was spirited across the border. They are not even communicating with the Mexican authorities. Clearly, they do not believe that is a big part of this investigation. This question was huge. This next one. Are you purposely withholding information because of the active investigation? I listened very carefully to this because I feel like the sheriff has called me reckless because of my reporting, and I stand by my reporting and I stand by my ironclad source. So I listened very carefully, again, to this question. Are you purposely withholding information because of the active investigation? And I want you to hear for yourself exactly the words that the sheriff used. Take a look.
Throw down.
You know, this is no different than any criminal investigation that we conduct here. Law enforcement has conducted investigations since 1865 here in Pima County. We're always mindful of what it is that's in front of us and what we should release and can release. There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too. So, you know, I'll leave that for you to determine.
So that is fascinating to me. This is no different than any criminal investigation than we conduct here. We're always mindful of what's in front of us and what we should release and can release.
Mm-hmm.
There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too. I'll leave that for you to determine. So possibly my reporting is being knocked down for that reason. Maybe not. Again, I have said from the beginning, law enforcement reserves every right to change their minds in an investigation, and they should be open to that. They should have been open to it in John Ramsey. They should have been open to it in Ed Smart. They should have been open to it in Richard Jewell. Eventually they were, but that is what they're supposed to do. Go where the investigation takes them. But right now, my source says it has taken them to the son-in-law who may be a prime suspect right now. Okay. So then, should the federal reinforcements have been brought in earlier, meaning the crime scene was dismantled, the tape came down, I think it was like 30 or 40 hours from the 911 call, and the sheriff he's owning it. He's saying, look, I get it. The Monday morning quarterbacking, he says, I will take that hit. Other people who are very knowledgeable about investigations have said,
you're welcome.
Don't worry. The FBI is going in for something entirely different. Yes and no. They may or may not have been able to get what they needed when they put the crime scene tape back up and went in for like 2 hours yesterday.
Thank you.
But the courts are an issue, and the courts would have to sort that out in any potential prosecution afterwards, because a defense attorney will say, are you kidding me? This evidence was compromised. There were reporters walking all over the place. The crime scene tape was down. Anybody could have gone in. So it could be an issue, but oftentimes it might not be either. So there's 50-50 on that. And there's a few other quotes directly from the sheriff that I'd like to share with you.
From Fox Digital. Sheriff, you said you've identified no suspects. Have you ruled out anyone she was with on Saturday night?
You know, we've talked to so many. I'm sure that my investigators have feelings about this one's clear or this one isn't. But no, I wouldn't say anybody's ruled out yet, because what if I rule you out and then later I learn something else? No.
Have you been in communication with anyone who you believe could be the kidnapper?
You know, it goes back to what we talked about. Nobody's eliminated, but we just really don't have enough to say, this is our suspect, this is our guy. We know or our gal. We just don't know that.
Are you actively investigating the son-in-law in this case? There were reports earlier this week, and you refuted that. You said you haven't eliminated everybody. Have you eliminated him or come close to it, or are you actively looking at him?
We're actively looking at everybody we come across in this case. Everybody. We would be irresponsible if we didn't talk to everybody. The Uber driver, the gardener, the pool person.
Gardener, pool person.
It's so cliche. But
that was
everybody's
interesting
still
to
a
me.
Suspect in our eyes. That's just how we look at things and think as cops. Does that mean we have a prime suspect? No. And the family's been very cooperative. They've done everything we've asked of them, and we want that relationship to continue.
Today's
and
law
sometimes people can be mean out there, and that can really harm us.
The FBI has now offered a $50,000 reward for information that will help find Nancy.
Thank you, Sarah.
They're also going to start putting up billboards in the vicinity. And then I thought it again strange. There was an announcement made at the end that there will be no further press conferences unless warranted, unless information is warranted. So I just want to keep you up to speed on all of the reporting. And I have had so many phone calls from media outlets and former colleagues and, you know, people I've worked with for years or known for years in the business asking me, are you sure? Are you sure? And I am standing by my reporting. I have done this a long time. I had a reporter ask me recently, well, you've left a major network where the standards are different and now you're working for your own outfit. Have you relaxed your standards? I have not relaxed who I am and what I have built over 4 decades of being a correspondent, an anchor, a war correspondent, a victim of 9/11, and someone who has spent more hours in court than I could possibly ever count. I have not. This would be the exact same reporting if I worked at CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, or News Nation. So just so you know, I have an incredible source. I stand by that source. I have communicated regularly with that source.
Firm.
And I have also said exactly what that source said and how things can change. So if you're going to re-report again what I say, please just use the words that I use. And then also be mindful when you listen to how the sheriff answers, because I am seeing a lot of room for movement there. As always, I'm so thankful that you are following this case with me, that you watch and listen to this podcast. Thank you for being a part of this community. And remember, the truth isn't just serious. It is drop dead serious.
Okay. What are you guys thinking? What are you thinking?
Hey, Steph. Good morning.
Hey. Good morning.
So now I'm wondering, y'all notice in the timeline, we didn't get in the timeline official from law enforcement when a call came in from an alleged church member. I'm now wondering, was there even a call alerting from someone from the church? That's I'm kind of stuck on that now. Who alerted the family and what time exactly was that? That's missing from the official timeline.
Well, I know that I pulled dispatch myself and I put that together and I listened to it. And there was some confusion because in the dispatch, it was saying that that she had not been seen since 12:15 p.m. and that's incorrect. I believe the call came in around, let me get that, sorry about that. I believe the call came in around 12 noon. And they did mention that in the presser, though they didn't put it in the official timeline. So I believe around noon is when this happened. And then within 5-10 minutes, dispatch was called out. I have, by the way, and I don't know if we're going to get it, but I have put in a request for the original 911 call. The Pima Sheriff's Office emailed me this morning. They said, we have your request. Please understand that we are processing multiple requests, and we will get that to you as soon as we can. So I have put it out there, and they have acknowledged me, and now I'm waiting for the original 911, not the dispatch, and then we will be able to hear for ourselves who called that in.
That's very important. You can learn so much. For 10 years now, over 10 years, I've been covering the Davy Blackburn case out of Indianapolis, and his wife, he was a pastor there, and his 911 call, it took us years. I got the runaround from law enforcement for years. We finally got it just a couple of years ago, and I've shared it and posted it, and it sounded like he was ordering pizza. You know, he was so calm, gave the address. It was ridiculous. And of course, we suspected it's been more than what they said happened. But that would be, I think, you can learn a lot from a 911 call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. Chelsea's coming up here. If you don't mean to be up here on the panel, let me know, and I will let you down. We're going to let Jillian down because I don't think she knows she came up here.
You know, about Ashley, I've listened to her, and you know, I'm not like not every day or anything like that, but I do. It's interesting. She's very secure. She's very confident. And I know, being on this side of things as a covering cases and people sending me information, I've had a few pretty high profile stories. Most recently last year with Robert Morris of Gateway Church, and NBC News actually came to my house last year, and we filmed for a few days about my part on being, and when sources reach out, and I know that feeling of, you want the information out there and you have to be professional, but she's very secure in that. And I know that feeling because I've had information so close to a source, and being very careful how I word things. And you know, she's very careful. She's very professional, but she's very humble. And I don't think she's doing it for clicks and ratings and all that. And there's reasons why someone so close to the situation, could it be Savannah, wants it out there, and she's doing it, I think, very, very professionally. And it may turn out to not be right, but I like that she is handling this. In my opinion, I don't think she's doing it like TMZ would. But I can relate on a kind of a smaller scale, but also in high profile stories like a week before Micah Miller passed away, someone did reach out to me from the local area and said, Amy, you know, there's this pastor, he's abusive, and we're trying to get help. Here's the situation. And I said, please send me whatever you can. Now, I didn't run with it. I couldn't at that point because I was waiting more information because I had to be careful. Sadly, the next thing I heard was the next day when she passed away. And of course, been, you know, interested in that case since then. And I think hopefully we're going to see at least some semblance of justice. But that's my kind of thoughts on Ashley.
Hi, Chelsea.
Good morning. Do we know how she attended church? Was it in person? Was it online?
So that's a question, online or in person. I feel like it was probably in person.
Right.
Because normally if it's like online, people don't know that you're missing from online church unless you show up every time. That could be a thing, but I think it's more likely. Then she seems like the type to me to want to go
to be in person. Right.
You're right. And the comments to acknowledge, right, we don't know yet. We're going to put that out there. We're just theorizing that based on what we know so far, it's more than likely she was at church in person.
And do we know, I haven't heard anything about her method of getting to and from, say she did go in person, how she would get there.
So we know she can't drive. Well, they say she was still driving. And I want to bring this up too, because I was thinking she had a walker, like the one that they put the tennis balls on the bottom and they push it. But she doesn't. She has 2 canes that she uses to walk, like hand canes, not like big canes or crutches. And so this wasn't asked at the presser, though I wished it was. Is the canes, the hand walkers there, or did they take them?
I believe on Tuesday when they had the initial presser, they were not willing to give that information. So I don't know that.
Because if they took them, okay, this tells me one or two things. They either watched her from a distance for a hot minute to figure out that she uses those, or they know her, right? And they know that she uses those. Because if you are randomly breaking into a house to abduct a person, you might not be immediately aware unless there's some sort of conversation here. And I don't think they was. I think she got knocked out in the head. I think the blood trail's in the house and they're not telling us because it didn't just start at the front door. Okay. And I think she did not have a conversation about this. So if they're not there, that's a huge clue that could, now we have to think about who all does she know. I found it peculiar that he talked about the gardener, and the people around the house.
The pool
we know
person.
that she has those people, but the pool person, right? It's just an oddly thing to say.
Do you know who? I was just curious where it had come from because there's been a lot of speculation. So I wasn't sure if she'd gone online or in person or if we had that.
We don't.
I haven't seen nothing official I've seen, just some speculation, which, I mean, at 84 years old would make sense because, it is flu season. COVID is still going around. So I could see her concerns for her health.
Yes. We wondered if they took some medicine too out of the bottle, and they should know that for sure if they would just, count it and let, which I'm sure there's a whole bunch that we don't know. They are very nonchalant at the presser. Ashley Banfield knows her crap. She's not going to risk a career she just started, although she has to understand that there are protections that being in a media agency gives you that doesn't give you when you have your own podcast. So I would just take that into consideration. But a solid source is a solid source. It's not going to change for her because she would not risk that. And we talked about that. So that the person high up, I think the verbiage has changed, however. Now it's maybe a prime suspect. I'll have to go back and watch the first podcast and whether she said he was or it may be a suspect.
I think she said maybe.
I do think, though, that she makes a good point. If you're going to use me as a resource and as that speculation, please make sure you're using it verbatim. Because that is very easy, depending on how it's said and who's saying it, to get twisted.
We have 195,000 likes. I'm going to challenge you to hurry up and make it to 200,000 likes. Throwdown. Today's live goal is 10 good mornings, which is about to change to good afternoon here in a few minutes. But thank you for being in here. 1,300 souls in this room. If you don't follow me, please do so. It's free to do. I'm just refreshing between News Nation and Fox News right now to see if anybody's live from there. So if you see anybody live, I think it's News Channel 13 something, or
Fox
anybody,
10.
just let me know. Fox 10 is live right now?
They are going live at 10 o'clock our time or so in like 1 minute. And with the latest, I don't know that there's been any update. It might be the same rigmarole, but
I hope it doesn't turn into a, Sebastian Rogers situation. It's so sad to not know what happened to him.
Oh gosh, watch Keep. I think about him all the time.
I mean, too. Every day.
You got to tap. Oh, well, you just have to tap on my face, I think.
Yes, Sarah, it is.
Thank you for your heart.
Are you on the YT?
I'm on their website.
You might try.
Okay.
Well, I know Jenny said, I think it's pretty clear what happened to Sebastian.
Okay, here we go.
So sad.
Okay. They are just like in the middle of
Breaking details in the case that's got the nation on the edge of its seat. The desperate search for Nancy Guthrie has entered day 6. Law enforcement racing against the clock as the first ransom note deadline reportedly expired yesterday. Now, that was at 5 p.m. local time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And FBI confirming that the next deadline, and the more serious one, according to TMZ, is set for Monday. Arizona investigators say they believe the 84-year-old mother is still out there. The Guthrie family releasing a second video pleading for any proof of life for Nancy's potential captors.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly.
Can I send you a link to the local news somewhere?
yes, just email it to me.
Okay.
Steph'sCaseFiles@gmail.
We're waiting for contact.
Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kaylee McEnany here with my co-host, Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Sandra Smith, co-anchor of America Reports, Molly Line, Fox News
Thank you, guys.
correspondent, and
Thank
Griff
you
Jenkins,
for the
co-host
gifts.
of
Thank you
Fox
so
and
much.
Friends Weekend. Let's begin here. Here is what we now know at this moment, that investigators are on the case and they have not identified a person of interest. We were told that yesterday emphatically during that press conference. The FBI, however, is offering a $50,000 reward for information either leading to Nancy's rescue or to the arrest of anyone involved in her disappearance. TMZ
Thank
founder
you,
Harvey
Brown Eye
Whitman
Girl.
says his outlet received a copy of the alleged ransom note. He was one of 3, and he provided new information about it to Hannity last night.
When I said there are 2 deadlines, yes, there is one that changes the demand, and that's the one that that has already passed. And the one on Monday is far more consequential. There is a phrase in this email that absolutely makes me believe this person who wrote this, and if they're telling the truth, that Nancy is within a radius of the Tucson area, not in Tucson right now, but in a radius.
Radius.
New Mexico, I don't know how far, but I think at least what the authorities have is they've got a radius, and that's something.
Mary Coleman, an Arizona news anchor, says her network also received a copy of the alleged ransom note. She saw the note and had this to say.
We were frankly surprised that they released so many of those details. They were, the PCSD anyway, was happy that we had kept a lot of those hush-hush. So the fact that the FBI came out with some of those intimate details was pretty surprising to us. A lot of the facts were correlating, but we are still not talking about the contents of the letter just yet. But some of the information that they released, I will say a lot of it is accurate compared to what we have.
What time that KOLD received the ransom note as it pertains to kind of that timeline? Was it Saturday night or Sunday morning?
I believe it was Monday, actually, that we received that.
Monday.
Law enforcement is promising to look into all leads. And meanwhile, Nancy Guthrie's neighbor told the New York Post he reported a suspicious white van parked on their block days before Nancy went missing. He described the white van as, quote, full-size with no printing on the sides. It was parked on the street, and normally people that are coming to work on your way home will have a company vehicle, or if they're independent, something written on it. You know, Harris, we know that there are more than 100 tips, all of them taken seriously, and any of these one tips could be the break in the case. You know, with Elizabeth Smart, it was a tip that led police to go to a car on the side of the road. There were many erroneous tips before then, but the one tip made the difference.
Yeah, what's interesting, you know, I worked on America's Most Wanted. I hosted the missing persons version of that. And it's a lot different to have a bevy of tips and to have really true core at the heart ones that you can use. 100 seems pretty low. And I'm thinking that the FBI getting involved is going to bump that up. But you do want enough to look at so that you can extrapolate that out to some answers.
Hey,
Part of the
Steph.
issue has been the lack of cameras
I was
in
watching
that
a
area
live
and
last
those that could
night,
actually see
and
the
there was a
neighboring
guy
in.
that was covering the case also. And there's a part in that plea that her daughter said whenever they aired that, if you will go to Silence of the Lambs and pull that same word, verbiage, its same wording from
We
start to finish.
we
And
talked about that this morning, and
okay,
I feel
because
like that phrase is a common phrase, and I think that they're just trying to find a conspiracy with that. Yeah, I'm
I
not going to
didn't
believe. I'm not
I
believing
didn't
that.
know if you had seen that because some of them were trying to say that she kind of grinned there when she paused, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't see that. I didn't know. I just hopped on just a few minutes ago and caught your live, and so I didn't know if you had seen that. Um,
Yes, we did.
because I was like, that's a little crazy. So
No, I commented on the original video and said, "No, that's a common phrase. You That'd be like saying like I'm about to throw down right now." Well, Steph says that, so that's a common phrase. All right, let's go back to Fox News Live. But thank you for letting us know.
yes, ma'am. Can you drop me?
Either for low
Yes, I
lighting
will.
purposes or just because of the way the homes are set back. We've talked a lot about that in Tucson, Arizona, that area that she lives in. But I thought this was interesting. From what I learned last hour on the Faulkner Focus and interviews that I conducted about that white van, Paul Morrow told me that the police did respond. He said the problem is there was no sort of, well, the van was gone by the time they got there. There was no sort of follow through to figure out, well, was that even part of anybody's life at that point? Was that person there and just didn't know where to park? Or were they
Right.
just transient through the neighborhood, so on and so forth?
Right.
So I don't know. He said he didn't make that much of it at the time. Paul didn't. But getting those answers would have mattered. We don't have those answers because that van is gone. And again, if you had cameras that could have picked even that up, you'd have that as well. So that's a huge gap. And because of that, I think that kind of constricts how wide your circle can get with tips.
Yeah, Sandra, when you look at the alleged ransom note, we've heard a consistent message from Savannah and then last night from Cameron saying, we want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. They are clearly trying to open a line of communication. But what strikes me as is so odd is you would think that someone who wants a ransom would communicate back in some way. At least what the public knows, that has yet to happen.
Feels like the ransom note, at least we can cling to hope that somebody's holding on to her, right? And that she is on the other side and possibly there could be a negotiation, at least communications. I worry about clinging to that false hope without an authentication, without really knowing that ransom note is real and that somebody is holding on to this dear woman. There's so many things that concern me that we learned from that news conference. We carried it live during America Reports yesterday. Harris, you and I were going back and forth with the timeline. I mean, that is everything right now. We are clinging to that timeline.
Yes, we are.
41 minutes in the middle of the night in which
41
the
minutes
stopped working, her pacemaker became disconnected. Something obviously happened. I've dug deep into what happens on those cameras when they're not paying for the subscription, so there's no video, but it alerted that a person went by one of those cameras. But then when the sheriff was asked which camera was this, he couldn't explain that. I'm thinking about the detailed nature of these investigations. This is camera one, this is in the hallway, this is outside the door, this is the camera that identified a person. To not have that answer really sort of concerned me yesterday. I'm sure somebody has the answer to that question. I'm also concerned about the familiarity when you look at the timeline and you look at the person or whoever it was that pulled that camera from the front porch, that could they have known that there wasn't a subscription? So where's the details over was
if
there
the
ever
door
a subscription? Was that subscription canceled? I'm sure there are answers to this, but
Can we stop here for just a second and look at this timeline? 1:47 a.m. The doorbell camera disconnects. Okay, so they got there at 1:45. I bet you. And we talked about that camera that's on the front door that's now missing. Doorbell camera disconnects. Well, the doorbell is the front door. So if the front door was unlocked, which they have confirmed, I think, then why did he go to a second location in the house and break in with forced entry? I think the forced entry has not been confirmed. Am I wrong, Chas?
So look, last night, our beloved sheriff man went on, it was Fox, I think. He was on with one of the anchors. So how did he say last night that they're not even sure what camera was disabled at 147?
Mm-hmm.
No,
But
they
on the
did not.
timeline, they put the doorbell. But he literally stated last night they're not even sure which one was disabled at 147.
They did, Steph, during the press conference. He said he did not know where the forced entry had come from, but
Well,
he
yeah,
was.
because that was put out by Enton and Banfield, but
They. What
the point
he had
is,
said.
you don't even know what camera was taken down first and what was disabled. Like but you're putting together a timeline stating differently. Like, dude, which is it?
Somebody in the comments made a good point that the front door would be unlocked because they went out that door. I agree with that. So that would explain that. So there is word of a floodlight being damaged. Do you think this is true or false?
Who knows? Maybe maybe one of the other cameras was connected to the floodlight and it got damaged also, possibly.
How come none of the media that was out there and up close and personal was able to notice or see the?
Because it's probably in the back,
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm thinking. Or on the side of the... I'm thinking in the back, because she had such a vast area in the back. You know, with the pool, and then she's got property behind that wall, like the wall that's around the whole house in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that she's got a floodlight in the back there.
In Karma Israel, in the press conference, he did not confirm or deny. He said he didn't know where that came from, but he was not confirming nor denying that there was forced entry.
Correct.
If we look at the timeline here, 2:08, she's far enough away to be disconnected from the phone. Yet at 2:12, which is 1 to 5 minutes later, a software detects somebody on a camera that exists that was not disconnected. Obviously, this is two different cameras. So I'm confused as to what happened between those 5 minutes.
So their wording in that timeline is terrible. You can interpret that timeline to anything you want it to say. So disconnected clearly does not mean it was disconnected from the service. It means that it was disconnected from the house, because if you disconnected it from the service, you wouldn't get somebody movement however many minutes later on another one. You see what I'm saying? His timeline is fucking horrible.
It's the 2:08. She's away from the house, but at 2:12 there's a person. Okay? This confuses me. Those should be flip-flopped. At 2:08 the software should detect, and at 2:12 because if she's moving away from the house, I mean, so there's got this, to me it looks like then there's a camera installed somewhere down the road. Do you see where I'm going with that? It just is confusing.
Let me grab my glasses, because I think you're reading it backwards stuff. Hold on. Let me grab my glasses real quick. There was a 45 minutes between the first camera being disabled to her being far enough away. Her being far enough away that her pacemaker quit syncing with her phone. They were literally in the house for 45 minutes.
I had read that as a
that's where we leave.
2:08. It's 2:28. That's why I was so confused. I can't see either, y'all, and I
know,
got glasses on. Thank y'all for clearing that up for me. Now that makes sense. I'm like, this is so backwards. Yes.
What they do in the house for 45 minutes?
Chastity, that's what I was going to say that. So if, let's just say it's not son-in-law, it's not someone in the family, kind of like that. If it's broader and bigger, a professional kind of like a hit job kind of thing, they go in and they get out. If it's not a burglary, that's a long time. That's someone doing something else or being very comfortable. Don't you
It's
think?
almost that during that time is when they were working on those cameras and doing whatever needed to be done before they took her out of there in those last,
Now think of this. Did they think they were walking into her house to a massive amount of valuables or money, and they were trying to get her to talk, and so then we ended up here with them being kidnapped for ransom? Just thinking.
Yeah.
It is a big house, but it's, what do they say, about 3,100 square feet, but it's ranch style. So, instead of being 2 stories, so it covers, a larger square footage. But I mean, yes, it's very nice. But hasn't she lived there since like
Yeah.
1975?
Yeah, they've been there. That was the family home.
So
I think they thought she was loaded because her daughter. I do. I really feel like they do. Or it's seriously somebody so close that they're overlooking it.
Right.
They also last night, New York Times had in their post noticed, or it had been released, that there was a spike in her heart rate at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Which would have been when they entered the home, from what I'm gathering.
I had to lower that because we've already got flags. So that's fine. Let's just continue watching this. This is live news if y'all want to. It's totally up to you, but I'm getting flagged left and right over here. I feel like I'm the only one that gets flagged.
I know, girl.
Steph, has anybody requested, have you heard? Maybe we should ask Brian Enton. Has anybody requested for the 911 call, not the dispatch, but
I have.
Okay.
I have, and the sheriff's office emailed me back this morning, and not in so many words. Hey, we've got this. We've got so many requests that we're trying to get to you, and so hopefully they will send it to me. I don't know. I think all of the major news stations are waiting for it. I think I'm probably last in line and last on the totem pole, but I did my best to get a copy.
And will
Well,
it
shit,
be
if you get it first.
will it be Annie or Tommaso on the 911 call? Probably Annie.
I'm expecting somebody from church. That's who I'm expecting.
Well, no, because church contacted Annie and Tommaso. They go to the house, and they're the ones that called 911.
Right.
What they don't put on the timeline is what time did the church member call them?
Yes,
I'd
Chastity.
like to know that.
That was my question.
How long did it take you to go to that woman's house, because she's your mama, and go check on her? Because supposedly they was out to brunch at the restaurant that everybody said they were at the night before. That's not true. They were at Annie's house the night before. Those Tommaso and Annie were at the restaurant that morning for brunch.
Yeah.
So. I don't know, y'all.
Yes, Karma Israel said, have you noticed they've been leaving that out? That's what I said. It's not in the law enforcement official timeline. So was there really a call from a church member?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, the 911 call could say there was, even though there might not be. That might not even be true. I think that's going to be a process of them asking the church member themselves.
And did you guys think about this last night when we found out that there was no paid service to these cameras? So, other than her red stuff in the house, on the front porch or whatnot, wherever it's at, how do we confirm that whomever took her home that night actually left?
I've thought that too. We don't know.
Interesting.
It only took 2 minutes. Okay, listen. Only takes 2 minutes for you to open the garage and get in with someone that is handicapped, kind of, to get in and walk around. Like, she's challenged, she can't really walk. 2 minutes.
I thought maybe, well, before, when I thought she had the kind of walker that has the tennis wheels on the bottom, I thought, yes, that would take probably 2 minutes if it's hard for her to walk. I guess it just depends on how hard. Check my text.
But also remember, if they know the time that the garage door opened and the time that it closes, that means that was done by her phone. That is the only way you're going to know that info.
Okay. Thank you. Dana has sent me some information from Google that says a church member contacted Nancy Guthrie's family to report she was missing from Sunday services at 11 a.m. Following this, relatives checked on her at 11:56 a.m. Before calling 911 at 12:03. So I can tell you around 12:08-ish is when the dispatch audio starts. So that would fit into the timeline. So they said that she's missing at 11 a.m. and they live 4 miles away. Takes about 15 minutes. But they didn't arrive until 11:56 a.m. So that's interesting to me. If that timeline is true, take it for a grain of salt. It's AI, so we don't know, but that's what Google says.
That's, yeah, that would be. And you said, Chastity, that they were at brunch?
They were at brunch at that restaurant. I can't remember the name
El
of
Charo.
it. El Charo, yes.
That's
So I
the
don't
name
know
of the
how.
restaurant that was said. Who came
Yes.
out with that?
So what happened was the workers at El Charo confirmed they were there, but people were misinterpreting that as they meant that they were there the night before with Nancy. No, her and Tomasa were there that morning having brunch. So I don't know how far El Charo is from Nancy's house, but I doubt it's 45 minutes.
No, and it depends on which location. There's one that's probably 10 minutes one way and another that's 20-ish minutes.
Okay.
Depends
we
on if
might
they went to
be-
the one on the north side or the one downtown.
Right. So maybe they didn't think it was. Maybe they didn't take it seriously when they first got the call from the people at church. Maybe they thought mom overslept. Maybe they thought, whatever. Maybe she decided not to go. Who knows?
What time is their church service?
We looked it up. Church starts at 11 a.m. or 10:30 or 11, but it's out by
11:30.
11:30, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think it was 10:30 to 11:30.
Okay, so devil's advocate, what if they were like, okay, maybe she's sitting in a different place or maybe she's online, whatever, and they waited until 11:30 when church was supposed to be out before going up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I just wondered what time the call was made by the church member to them to say, "Hey, your mom's not." You know what I mean? She's missing from the service, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just
And that's
wondered
you
that.
said what you said, Steph, was around 11.
Yes.
So then somebody stepped out of church to call.
Apparently.
But I'm just
maybe.
Well, remember, that's coming from potentially possibly a suspect. We don't know, but so that information we have not heard officially from law enforcement, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if he said that in the very, very beginning. I don't see. He's changed his tune and his story so many times, and he's pedaled backwards so many times, which is making it hard. And then they're putting up this timeline that leads to interpretation because of the wording of it. It's like they're doing that purposefully, and I don't
They
know
are.
why.
I personally think that he got reprimanded for giving out so much information initially that he's had to try to reel it in and not confirm or, retract as best he can what he's
right
said.
I mean, because, what they said was true. The last time they had anything like huge like this, I guess you want to say, like huge, was when Gabby Gifford was, pew there.
And that was
So,
in 2011 that happened.
yeah. So, I mean, I get it. Like, he does seem very nervous when he talks. He
Yes, he
seems
does.
yeah, he seems to fumble a lot. Like he wants to answer your question to the actual truth right then and there, but he's like, oh shit, I can't. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Do we happen to know if there's an actual picture of the front door? Not the security door, but the front door? Because there could be forced entry into the front door without because I have a security door that I had put onto my house after I bought it. They don't all come with them. You have to purchase them or have them built that way. And sometimes I don't lock my security door because, believe it or not, they're heavy and they're hard to lock sometimes. But there's a door behind that. So I'm wondering if what Ashley is saying with forced entry would be that inner front door.
Tina, he said he wasn't going to deny or confirm forced entry. He didn't know where that come from, but he wasn't saying either way.
Right. He did not confirm that there was absolutely none. I think that when he went back and tried to retract what had been said or his slip up is what's being confused with him stating or confirming there was not any forced entry. He said he was not confirming yes or no.
Right.
And do we happen to know if there's a gate that goes out to because like with my house, I have a gate and I'm local. I have a gate so I have my garage, my 2-car garage. And then to go to the back of my house, I have a gate by my back door.
There's 2. So her backyard is walled in. But between
They're doing an overview right now of the house, and I'm trying to look over and listen. Well, they just cut from it. I was trying to look at the door. I wish they would do an overview of the house and just kind of stay there for a minute instead of cutting, because once you figure out where something is, they cut to go back to what they're talking about, and you miss it.
Well,
somebody's saying in the comments that a helicopter has landed. I'm checking it out for you right now.
Wildboro Canyon.
So there are 2. If you look at her house, if you're standing there looking straight at it, where on the right-hand side by the garage, and then you have the mother-in-law pool house suite thing, there is a gate between those two, between the house and that building, that you could go through, but we don't know if it's locked from the outside, inside, whatever. Look at the left-hand side of the house. If you would go towards the back of the left-hand side on the back end, there is another gate, because her whole backyard is walled in.
Right. So is mine. I have a gate that goes from my backyard, but then I have another gate because I have a pool. When I had little kids, Arizona, you have to have it locked, like a gate or some kind of way.
It doesn't look like she has another gate. It doesn't look like there's another gate around the pool, though. It just looks like the wall. And when I say gate, I mean these are big wooden gates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, mine's wooden too.
Yeah, okay. Swinging, I didn't want you to think chain
it's
link.
a swinging gate. It's a swinging gate.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to tell you that I don't see that I do. Here's what I do see: the police helicopter departed the airport 30 seconds ago. Literally been in the air for 30 seconds. They are at 3,250 feet right now, and they are going over the Tortolita Mountain Park.
Where's that at?
Really north.
Really north of her house?
Well, of the airport. I'm trying to zoom out and see where Catalina Hills is.
It would be north.
It'd be north, far north.
It would be where it's from the airport.
it is
It
far
would
north.
probably be straight for quite some time and then veer.
Isn't that where they've been going around in circles for the past couple of days? Or no? Or am I wrong?
Is it for
Not
sure
over
medical?
this.
everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Not that far north. So I'm concerned here, and they are not going at a fast speed. Okay, they are still are only at 3,300 feet. Okay, so they are going over these mountains, and I am not aware of these mountains. Tell me about them, Chelsea. Is this somewhere somebody could dump a body?
Yes. There, it also could be a, has the scanner been on at all if it's a lost hiker, or that happens a lot where they're missing, or if there's an injured hiker, or something up that way that could be.
Look,
Could
it's
be.
snowy and icy here. I keep forgetting y'all's got nice weather out there.
Oh
We
yeah,
have no snow.
Yeah.
We have no
it's like
snow on our
73
mountains.
today.
Like I'm
I don't
sitting
know,
here
Chelsea,
like, who
did
the
you
hell's
see any
out
snow in the
hiking in the
mountains?
snow?
There was very little.
It was very little snow in the mountains here.
Oh, okay.
Very little, like less than what has been in previous years.
I remember I'm in Ohio.
Oh well, we won't brag too much.
Right? I just gotta remember where y'all's at. Like, who the hell's hiking? Oh, duh.
And it's not hard to get turned around in the mountains either. It's not hard to get lost there either at all.
Well, they kind of went a specific route, sort of in the valley of these set of two mountains, and I'm kind of going by, kind of a 3D view here. It looks kind of like you're in the middle of the valley there between two mountains. You see that?
Yeah.
So Dora's usually the one that's got the scanner on, so I don't have any clue. Let me go to Broadcastify and see if we can get the scanner going so we can talk about
Something else bouncing off of that is the TMZ is it the founder that's been speaking, said something
Harvey.
about the radius.
Yes. That was a big ass clue he just dropped. Did y'all catch that? That they're in the radius, not right in Tucson, but the radius.
And
How would he know that?
Last night,
Put in the letter.
he put something in the letter that made them think it was somebody in Tucson or that knew Tucson. But if he's now retracting or clarifying more, not in Tucson, but in the radius of, that's different.
Okay, let me get logged into Broadcastify here, because when I'm logged in, I can also pull history if we need to.
I'm not be honest. I thought from the beginning she's not far. Wherever she's at, she's not far. I just had that feeling. I don't know.
They're not focused on Mexico, I don't think. I forgot.
I don't think they're either.
Well, I mean, he said himself that they hadn't even been in contact.
Nope.
I think they would be able to get a lot of forensics from the car if that's accurate, that they took Annie's, did it come and go? Like Murdaugh case, they got a lot of forensics from the car. And
But
did you
how come
see?
they didn't take the car until a couple days later?
That's my question. If it was part of the investigation and what you normally do, wouldn't you normally take it right away?
Well, so I could understand if it was at first like a vulnerable adult or a missing person type search and rescue situation, but as soon as it turned to a crime scene, that should have been, in my opinion, one of the first things to go.
And I thought he caught that from the beginning.
Here's the scanner. There's 51 listeners to this scanner right here, and this is the police dispatch. I'm just going to lower this volume to where we can still hear it, but it's not overwhelming because they're not speaking right now, okay? That way we don't miss anything. Marie says, I think this case has been handled poorly, to be honest. Can we freaking throw down about the sheriff being asked during the presser, well, how do you feel about letting everybody and the brother up there? And he was like, well, we're going to have to just let the courts figure that one out. Okay, that is called a mistrial, sir.
Right?
I can't believe it. I can't believe he said such a thing, and and everybody's just like, okay, well. Instead of somebody saying, excuse me, here's my question. Hey, I'm next, and I've changed my question now that I've heard that one. My question is, so you bear no responsibility for opening up a crime scene early? That's a yes or no answer.
I'm really excited for him to have to report to someone about his Monday morning quarterbacking. That's one heck of a way to say I done messed up.
Yeah.
When it comes to Sheriff and Ashley, I'm Team Ashley.
Me too right now.
Unless proven otherwise.
I know somebody who knows her. Hey, I know her. And I'm going to text them today and say, text her and ask her tell her that we stand behind her. Okay. Steph case file stand behind her. That's what I'm going to say.
Good for her for, not backing down and standing up for exactly. I truly feel that she has something somewhere that's helping her, because otherwise she would have tucked her tail and ran.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the older, let's call them good old boys in law enforcement, don't like particularly, let's just say it, when women have information that
Nanos is one of them.
I respect her too. I got to work with her.
Trouble in the background, unknown, unable to speak to caller. They request a Spanish speaker, and then hung up when language line was brought on.
Okay, we're just going to turn that down. And I have to tell you, she's as real as they get. And she's as serious as they get. So I believe her. I believe that they did look at the son-in-law super, super, super close for whatever reason. And I think he kind of let it slip that they don't have enough. They don't have enough on him. They just suspected him. Well, the other thing that I'm struggling with so bad is that they traced this imposter just like that. Found him. Boom. But the other one, the real one, we seem to be having trouble with. Now, I do have the court documents from the imposter fellow. And I want to just I'm going to read this to you. Just so you understand what's on the legal documents for the guy who's in jail, who's an imposter. So he was, oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong paperwork. What have I got? What is this? Oh, no, it's him. Oh, okay, I know what they're doing. Okay, they explain everything that was going on with Nancy, okay? And then February 4th, 2026, shortly after the video was published, AC and TC, the daughter and son-in-law of NG, both separately received a text message stating, did you get the Bitcoin? We are waiting on our end for the transaction. That was the exact wording. And then law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the phone number was associated with a voice over internet protocol known as VoIP, text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. Trust me, there's a reason I'm reading this to you. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the phone number. Based on the records, it was registered to the following email. The records also indicate that the phone number had been accessed from the IP address. We're going to talk about that in a minute. At 6:02 p.m. on February the 4th, 2026. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request to the internet provider for the 103 IP address and determined that the IP address was associated with the fellow that was arrested, Kalia's residence in California. So they found him and arrested him. They traced him by VoIP. We know that to be like a burner number or whatnot. Very quickly, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Why is this taking so long in regards to the real ransom letter? Thoughts?
Exactly. It's my thoughts.
There's somebody in the comments stating that on the Book of Faces, TMZ is showing where they might be focusing on.
Okay, I'm going there now.
I think that however they set it up, whoever it was tech savvy enough. Like the email address is gone. Like any of that stuff that would be traceable is not able to be traced. Yeah. But the wallet's legit, which is weird.
I clicked the wrong dang button. Hold on, I gotta do this again.
Angie, you got a point.
Now the Book of Faces is gonna think I'm trying to hack into my own account because I told it I didn't recognize myself, which is a lie.
I just want you all to know I am sick and tired of the snow. It is now snowing again.
Oh,
okay.
Somebody's saying on YT.
Thank you. On YT. Okay. I'll go wherever they're at. I'm just trying to find them, you know. They're live on YT?
Yep. Thank you, Charlotte.
Freaking crazy.
So I'm here to chat with you all about some of the things we've been working on up in our little social world, and then we'll get to our regularly scheduled live program, Puppy Edition, which I know who is not excited for that.
Am I on the right one?
Talia has quickly, oh, Gabe, that's so sweet. I did see Trump's post about the Obamas. We will totally talk about that.
They have some sort of really super young intern talking to the chatters. Is that the right one? They aren't saying anything about Nancy. Okay, let me go over here on TikTok. I just don't want to get the wrong one. I don't know if they're live on multiple like different shows or she's just kind of prepping the audience. Okay, that is the real one. So I'm just going to watch her because I think this is something that's happening before their for real show. The video from 47 minutes ago? I'm so confused. Okay. Okay.
Where, Rachel?
20 times last night, and there was something that piqued my interest from the beginning.
Audio only so we don't get flagged.
I believe now that there is a way of connecting the dots and that law enforcement. I looked at this alleged ransom note 20 times last night, and there was something that piqued my interest from the beginning. And I believe now that there is a way of connecting the dots and that law enforcement has an area that they are most interested in terms of where Nancy might be if this letter is legit. And I say it for this reason, that obviously the person who took Nancy, if this is the person who wrote this ransom letter, they're demanding money. And if they get the money, they're saying they will return her. That's obvious, right? Well, in the letter, it says they would return her back to Tucson. So they also give a time frame of how long it would take after they received the money to return her to Tucson. So there's a time frame. Now, if you look at the time frame, then you say, well, you can draw a circle around Tucson to see how long maximum it would take to get her back there. And they're not going to fly her back because the last thing they're going to do is go to an airport where Nancy Guthrie shows ID. That's not going to happen. So clearly it would be driving. And they're not going to drive at 100 miles an hour because if they get stopped for speeding, it's over. So they're going to go at around the speed limit. So let's say that if this letter is legit, they would travel at about 60 miles an hour. So, based on this time frame in the letter and the fact that she would be returned back to Tucson, here's the way it looks. If you look, this is Tucson right here. If you look at this red circle,
Okay, hold on. No, we need to see this. So I'm coming back in as my other person so we can see. Y'all need to see this. Holy smoking meters.
Just say, as of Monday, I'm really gonna freaking miss you because I'm going back to work.
You are?
Yeah, I got a job at a nonprofit working with developmentally handicapped, like adults and children.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah.
We'll be catching you in the evenings, though, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. But I'm just gonna miss you guys during the day.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Okay.
But
Let's see. Okay, and I'm going to rewind this just a little bit so you guys can see this radius he's talking about. Let me move this.
That's quite a radius.
Oh my God, that is quite a freaking radius, Harvey.
Return back to Tucson. Here's the way it looks. If you look, this is Tucson right here. If you look at this red circle, that is the radius of the maximum amount of time it would take to get her back to Tucson, all around this circle. It incorporates California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho. It incorporates Colorado, Wyoming, a little bit of Kansas, and a little bit of Oklahoma. Now, that's a big area for sure, but it is not the full United States. It's not the world. At least it's a defined area. And again, if the letter is legitimate, then it would seem, based on the amount of time maximum it would take to bring her back to Tucson, it's this area that I would think authorities are most interested in.
I would exclude Mexico.
And remember, they are looking for anybody who possibly has information on the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie. So there's a $50,000 reward for information leading to her return. So I would think that this area is particularly interesting to them. I want to say a couple of other things. The letter, people have been asking, does it seem like it's written by just a crazy person? And the answer is no. This letter was very well constructed. It had structure.
Oh my God.
It had a beginning, middle, and end. It was well done. I mean, if you took this letter to an English teacher and said, give me notes on structure, on grammar, you probably would get no notes back. It's done by somebody, I believe, who is educated and
or use Chat
really
GPT.
Spent time. This was not something that took 5 minutes to write. This was a well-constructed letter. Final thing I want to say, and now this is opinion, that it is interesting to me that we got this ransom letter, but also the other two media outlets that got the ransom letters were both located in Tucson. They were television stations in Tucson. So why would somebody who wrote a letter like this know about the local stations and send to the local stations if they have no connection to Tucson? It feels like there is a connection to Tucson with the person who wrote this letter. And, a lot of people are saying, well, it happened because Savannah Guthrie is rich and famous, which she is. But is it that somebody looked at Savannah Guthrie and said, let's find a relative? Or is it somebody who lives in the Tucson area and either knows Nancy Guthrie or knows of her and knows her famous daughter is Savannah Guthrie, and it hatches from that? It seems to me, just based on where the letter went, that it's the latter. So the bottom line here, I know that the law enforcement has been saying they are desperate for clues, and they clearly are. But just in terms of the people who might help, I think heads up in this area.
Let's I'm going to hop over here and see what they're talking about on the scanner.
You guys just bear in mind that he's saying he thinks and in his opinion, so it's not.
Okay, they're not talking about anything, Nancy. Let's take a listen to see what Fox 10 is
for
saying.
kids.
Yeah.
But it can't cost a family 200 and some odd.
Okay, they're not talking about it. We were watching Fox News. If anybody else sees anybody live,
in our city last night at about the Black Canyon Freeway in Indian
this is the
School,
confusion
DPS says SWAT
from last
troopers
night.
were serving a high-risk warrant at a mobile home park. One of the troopers was shot in the shoulder, taken to the hospital. Two other troopers were reportedly injured by shrapnel. Now, it was unusual in that the county attorney, and I'm going to call up graphics 3 now, Brian, Rachel Mitchell's statement. She went to the scene last night, and here's what she posted. Thank God officers will survive. Those who shoot officers will be held accountable.
So that was the confusion from last night. They're telling me to check the flight radar.
CNN is on the YT.
Okay, so they are still over these mountains. So I don't know what hiker is stuck, or are they looking for, have they gotten some tip to go look in these mountains in regards to Nancy? But they are still over the same mountains. Thank you. Who did you say?
It was CNN. CNN is live on YT.
Are they talking about Nancy?
It's CNN News 18.
में 2018 में और 2022 में
Oh, CNN News dash 18. What I do? What's going on right now?
वर्ल्ड कप जीता है.
No, I think they're what? They're live about a soccer championship in India.
I've been checking on X. It's very quiet today. There was a lot more yesterday, obviously. It's very quiet today.
Yeah, they're in the valleys. And I'm listening, the scanner is not too I mean it's not it's normal calls, not I'm not hearing a hiker just yet.
All right, y'all, I gotta hop down. I gotta go in here and do all my testing for Monday.
Thank you.
Good luck.
But thanks. I'll see you guys roll around later on the streets.
Bye, Tess. Good luck with you and your new
Appreciate
job.
y'all.
Okay, so I got an email from somebody here.
Thanks, honey. Kick me down so it don't screw your thing up.
Okay. Oh, got you. Different background. Thank you. Well, this is a way better background than I have. So, somebody sent me the flight of the helicopter here over these mountains. This morning.
You can see they're going back and forth in that same general vicinity. Are they still at the lower elevation?
Let me check. Let me try to see if I can save this so we can zoom in. They are yes, they are still at 3,000 feet. How do I find the CNN? Like I can't find it. Okay, that's not this then. Okay, we have 312,000 likes, 941 souls in this room right now. Today's life goal is the league countdown. We've already got 2 of the 10. If you can't throw one, it goes to support the platform and what we do here. If you can't, please follow me. I'm so close to 170,000 followers. It's not even funny. Like literally 500 people. So if you are in here and you don't follow me, please give me a follow. It's free to do, and it's going to help me out a whole bunches. Thank you, Miss Jilly. Thank you, Miss Jilly. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for your follow, Susan. Thank you, Mama Coop. There is not an invite option, Mom. I think it's because maybe your account is private. I think you have to request.
Have you noticed, Steph, that there's not been any community-led, volunteer searches? I don't know if that's because of the rough terrain. Or I haven't really heard law enforcement say, please be advised not to, but I don't know. I've wondered that.
You're saying Vinny is live on Court TV? I don't see Court TV live. On YT?
Where? To Pomona. I teach at a racing school there.
I'm not sure. Canine, thank you. There's nowhere to search. Vinny's live on. Thank you for the platform. I'm gonna go over here and see what Vinny is talking about. Is he talking about the case?
What the girls need now is love. And you provide.
I'm gonna hop down, Steph. Thanks for having me up. Have a good day.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Just Vinny, gotcha. Oh my God, somebody's trapped in the bathroom because of a German Shepherd. Y'all listening to that? That's horrible. Okay, that's not us.
Area, not in Tucson. Could be in New Mexico. They could be in New Mexico now, but they are definitely familiar with Tucson. The end where.
So that's interesting to me as well. That he's not revealing what it is, but it seems like it is a local person, and it's someone who knows whatever it is. I can't imagine what it is, but he seems very convinced. And later on in the interview, he talks more about that, like that they're in this. There's someone from in this area, which to me would make sense. You need to be from that area to be familiar, because if you look at it from a wide look, right? And I think Al sort of mentioned this, like it's Savannah Guthrie's mother. Like who even knows where she lives or how she lives or that she lives by herself and the level of security. The other part of this is that it does seem to me that it's someone that's that has to be somewhat familiar with her situation.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
no doubt.
I mean, I've heard other people say this, and this is what I was thinking as well from the beginning, because I think it's a movie that I saw once, but like a nurse's aide or a housekeeper or someone maybe is dating someone who's not a great person, and says, you'll never guess whose house I was at today. Oh, really?
Laurence Olivier's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. cheeseburger with coffee.
Sonny
So,
Tufts.
who's he again? Is he the guy with the camera commercial? The
No,
Kodak?
Sonny Tufts is an actor from the 50s.
No, I'm talking about Laurence Olivier. Is he
No.
the guy that does the Kodak commercial?
He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
But Sonny Tufts is better.
Al doesn't get it. Al's not getting it.
I got it.
No,
Joe
Namath. Joe Namath came into the office today.
Before we came on, you and I had discussed the movie Ransom, which was Mel Gibson.
Yep, Ransom, Taken.
Okay, so in that movie, Mel Gibson turns the tables on the kidnappers by refusing to pay, and he says this: "You'll never see $1 of this money because no ransom will ever be paid for my son. Not one dime, not one penny. Instead, I'm offering this money as a reward on your head." He redefines the $2 million ransom as a $2 million bounty, calling the kidnapper a $2 million lottery ticket. He promises to run full-page ads in newspapers, ensuring the money tracks the kidnappers down for all time. And then the ultimatum he gives them: one chance to return his son alive, to withdraw the bounty, and if he doesn't, he warns them, "God be with you, because no one else on this earth will be."
Wow.
So
I love that movie.
That's
I
a
love
great
that movie.
A
Great movie. So that's the opposite of this, right?
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen because you can't put a bounty on someone's head, right? You can do it in the movies, but you can't do it in real life. But on the same token, there's no real reward here for information on this person, which is surprising me as well.
Well, from the FBI,
you
there
can't put
is.
a bounty on someone's head, but you could put $1 million up for someone to turn this person in.
Well, they did put 50,000, I believe. right?
Okay,
The FBI.
like I said, put some money in it. Like $50,000 is nothing. That's nothing. That's just FBI chump change. I'm
Yeah,
saying
you're right.
put $1 million. Put $1 million up. Dirtbags hang out with dirtbags. If somebody knows something, they might be able to give that piece of information that'll lead them to this person. Right?
That is absolutely correct.
here's
That's almost
another
what that's almost what Mel Gibson was doing. He's putting the $2 million on there.
Derek Myers,
he's calling it a
250K.
bounty, but you could call it a reward. There's a $2 million.
To directly communicate with them for their mother's release. All of this coming as a ransom deadline passed yesterday afternoon, and a second one looms on Monday.
Hold on,
Complete
I have to
coverage now.
completely
Paul
close
Morrow,
all of
Morgan
this
Wright,
out.
Callahan Walsh and James Galliano ready to break down the information of the case.
But first, our senior correspondent Alicia Acuna is live from Nancy Guthrie's house in Tucson. She's got the very latest on there for us. Hello, Alicia.
Hello, Sandra. Hello, John. Fox News can confirm the reporting by the New York Post that one of the neighbors of Nancy Guthrie reported to authorities that a week before her disappearance, he saw a white unmarked van that was parked on this street and that it was there for a while. The man told us law enforcement urged him not to speak to the media, but that the FBI and the sheriff's investigators did follow up. We reached out to the sheriff's department about the significance of this tip. They told us they are following all leads. Because the last known travel Nancy had was between her house and her daughter Annie's, we took a drive to show you the possible.
Oh.
We're
This
in
is
front
good.
of Nancy Guthrie's home, and we're going to help folks just understand exactly where it is.
Okay,
that
I
she
love
lives,
this.
The neighborhood. It's in Tucson, but it kind of feels like it's in the middle of nowhere. So we're going to take you on a drive to her daughter Annie's home. Orange Grove is one of the main arteries on this part of town. You can kind of see it's a busy street.
Why are
And
we
this
going
is
to
how
Annie's?
Most of the larger avenues and streets in the city of Tucson are, because folks don't have any other choice. They don't have a major highway or freeway going through the center of town. They have to take these routes. So we're coming up on what looks like the first major intersection where you have lights on all four sides on the way to Annie's house. And so this is an area where we can see cameras. This was a 4.5-mile drive, 10 minutes going the speed limit. And we can see here at Annie's house, Savannah Guthrie's sister's home, the media is gathered here, and we have arrived. And Sandra and John, as you know, this time yesterday we were awaiting a news conference by law enforcement. Turns out that was the last one, they say, until there's a major development. Back to you.
Well, we hope they alert us any moment now then, because we could certainly use a major development here. Alicia Acuna, thank you very much. John, this new bit of evidence evidence, another data point, I should say, are these floodlights. So we've got some video of this. Is this a live picture or video? Okay. This is obviously a picture, a still
That's
photo
a
of the
floodlight.
floodlights on the side of the home, which the federal authorities are now saying, and you heard it in the news conference yesterday, it's another data point that leads them to believe that the ransom note could be real. But they didn't tell us why or what was in the note that would reveal that.
Right. Apparently, there was something about floodlights in the ransom note that was sent to 2 television stations in Tucson and to TMZ as well. But none of those news outlets have told us what the specific notation about floodlights was. Was there a
Steph's
floodlight
Case
that was
Files
burned
at
out? Was the floodlight that was
gmail.com.
broken? Are these even the floodlights that they were talking about? Unclear. I heard Harvey Levin talking. We'll talk with Paul Morrow about this in just a moment, as well as he gets hooked up there in front of Nancy Guthrie's house. That Harvey said that there was something in there about the Apple Watch, and we have seen photographs of Nancy Guthrie with an Apple Watch on her wrist, which could have led literally anybody to say, oh, she was wearing an Apple Watch, and that could be taken as credibility. But this was something about the location of the Apple Watch in the house, according to Harvey. As an Apple Watch owner myself, I take mine off every night and I put it on my desk on its charger. So did she have it, was she wearing it to monitor her sleep, which you can do, or did she have it on the charger? That's a big question.
It's all a big question. And you look at the floodlights and you also start to wonder, were these effective the night this happened? Were they going off when somebody was, walking up to the perimeter of the property? Did a neighbor happen to be up getting water in their kitchen and notice the lights go on?
I
have so
can't
many
check it right
questions, and
now
every
because
time
I
we get a
this
new data
been one of
point,
these things.
You're hungry for more, John.
Yeah, indeed.
Let me.
Well, let's bring in
This
Fox
is
News
just only going to
contributor
take a
Paul
second.
Morrow for more on all of this. He's a retired NYPD inspector and an attorney. Let's talk first of all, if we could, Paul, about the deadlines that were contained in that ransom note.
There's a lost
Harvey
hiker
Levin
search going on, so that's probably why they're over in the mountains.
When I said there are 2 deadlines, yes, there is one that changes the demand, and that's the one that that has already passed, and the one on Monday is far more consequential.
The Scripps News Service outlined in detail what that far more consequential deadline was. We don't find any need to repeat it here, but safe to say that if the contents of that ransom note are correct,
I thought they said it was
and that
busted.
ransom note is legitimate, they're racing against the clock now.
It does indeed, and that's my assessment as to why we got a second video, John, from the family last night, because that first deadline was passing at the time. And you have to imagine that if you're sitting where the family is, they're so desperate for contact, some sort of beginnings of a negotiation to hand her back. And yet the first deadline came and went, nothing like that. And they know that second deadline, which is reportedly more, quote unquote, consequential, is looming. And I'm sure now they are just hoping against hope that somehow or other they receive a communication from whoever did this.
All right, so there's questions about the authenticity.
God,
of
did
the
they
ransom
check the
note.
mud
Harvey
room?
Levin from TMZ was
God,
on
if
with
she's
Sean
in
Hannity
there.
last night, and he outlined why
Surely
he
they
believed
cleared
that there
it.
was something legitimate about the ransom note. Listen here.
There was something in that letter that caught my eye. We knew she wore an Apple Watch. There are pictures of her with Savannah with that watch. But they mentioned where the watch was, the placement of the watch in the house. And that's not something that was out there.
So, I mean, it was the middle of the night. You would think unless she was monitoring her sleep with the Apple Watch, which you can do, it would likely be on a charger somewhere. I don't know if she took it with her when she was taken from the house, or
The
if
pool
police
looks
had
pretty
that in their
clean.
possession. Do you know anything more about that? And what about the floodlights as well?
My understanding relative to the watch is that it was left behind. And that is also one of the ways that they showed that the pacemaker was no longer connecting to the app. Furthermore, my question there, John, just to tease out the point you're making, is that if she wore it to bed as a monitor, who else was looped into that watch? Because one of the primary features of an Apple Watch is you can have a grouping on the watch, and especially for an 84-year-old woman who lives alone, where there are other people who could get an alert, let's say, if something went wrong.
I'm
with the
doing this to
pacemaker,
help
that kind of a
not
thing.
get flagged,
So
really.
I would be asking that question as well. Those are answers you can get from delving into the watch. I hope by now that they've broken the phone. That can be very, very difficult. We all talked about that Celebrite suitcase that was brought into the
Mhm.
house. That's what that device is for. Relative to the floodlights, the only thing I can shed on that is the following. My understanding is that in this part of Arizona, in this community, there is some kind of an
I
ordinance
do not think she's
against
alive.
floodlights. So the idea being that a floodlight might attract some attention, I don't know how to tease that out, but I do know that reportedly there is this ordinance. And I can tell you that having been here, you know, it's the kind of place that a white van sitting on the street for a while, I have to say, now that I see it, would be noticed. It's a very
It would
sort of
be.
insular environment here. It's a very much a neighborhood. It's not a gated community, but it's all but. You turn off a road, you come into these gentle hills that have this sort of foliage,
Mhm.
and there's nobody who parks on the street here. So if your car, a van especially, is left on the street for a while, somebody will notice it. And so I give that lead maybe a little bit more credence than I had previously.
So genetic genealogy is being used on some of the blood samples that were taken from the home to see who else might have been in the home at the time of her abduction. Seems to be taking, Paul, a long time for the results of that to come back. You would think that they would put a stat order on it so that they could get it as quickly as possible. But when you're looking down the road of genetic genealogy analysis, how long does that really take?
You know, it's hard to say, but that's not a quick process, John, and
Two
here's
more
why.
for the go, guys.
It's
Two
not
more
a
for the go.
dispositive one-to-one hit. You get that DNA signature, you ping it through the CODIS database, the federal database. If you're very lucky, your perpetrator's in there, you get the one-to-one hit just like fingerprints and your day is done. Generally, with genealogy, this kind of, the kind of
Thank you,
investigation you're
Katie.
talking about, what you have to do is you'll get back a
Katie!
grouping, and you'll get layered people who
Thank
are
you.
more related to the sample than others. And Kohlberger reportedly it was about a dozen, and they were tiered as to who were your most likelies. Among the most likelies was Brian Kohlberger's father. But the way you differentiate within that pool is typical detective work. You have a bunch of possibles, you got to now do that legwork. The good news is that there's a lot of AI developed in this area these days, and the FBI will have that. So you overlay the AI that runs all these databases immediately, as opposed to the kind of scut work that investigators normally would have to do, and you get from A to M, let's say, not quite to Z, but A to M much more quickly, and then you got to go out and start knocking on doors and interviewing people.
Right. Well,
That's a big
as you pointed out,
radius.
a painstaking process
I'm
that
still stuck
AI
on
helps
Harvey
to
Levin's
modify.
radius.
Paul, thank you for the update. Appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, John.
All right, Sandra?
Happening right now, a court hearing for a key suspect in the 2012 U.S. Embassy
Okay.
attack in Benghazi. Justice correspondent David Spahn is live in Washington. He's got the latest details on that for us. Hello, David.
All right, they have moved on from that, so I'm going to shrink that. Okay. All right, folks. My phone is about to fall over and die here. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the day unless something throwdown happens, and then that means I'm going to be right back. I can go live at any time during the day or night. So make sure you have your notifications turned on. Okay, because if I go live, I want you guys to come in here and hang out with me, especially during breaking news. All right, the next time I'm due to be live is tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be back. That's my next scheduled live. But anything can happen between now and then. I love you, Jelly Bean.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you for letting
Thank
me
you,
hang
Watchkeep.
out. Thank you.
Watchkeep. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you so much.
Anytime.
Mama, look, yes, I'll see you in Discord. You folks make sure you follow me on every social media platform. All you have to do is look for the same username and logo. You can find me on every social media possible, especially YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and all of those things. Make sure if you have downloaded Epic Studios, and you are on there, search for me. I am on Epic Studios, and that will most likely be the place I battle from now on, because they let their creators keep 80%. So TikTok, you got some catching up to do. All right, you guys know I love you. I love you so much. I appreciate your time. You come in here every morning. You listen to me throw down. There's nothing that fills my heart more. I look forward to it every single day. So thank you for being here with me. Did I reach 170,000 followers? No, I didn't. Did I? You're kidding. Hold on. Whoa. 300 followers. I need 300 followers. 300. It shows me 1,000, for the love of God, 169,700. I need 300, less than 300 followers to reach 170,000. So if you're in here right now and you don't follow me, please hit that follow button. It's free to do before I get out of here. It shows 170 for you? Wonder why not me? If it shows, it shows. I'm going to go with what it shows you. All right. I thank you. There is an update? Like a TikTok update? It shows 170. Isn't that weird? Kenzie took a screenshot. Email it to me, stephscasefiles@gmail.com. That's so oddly. Yeah, some of them. Oh, we don't know what's going on. We don't know, honey. We just hope TikTok ain't going to be a cow hoe. All right. I love you guys very much, and I'll see you tomorrow night unless something breaking happens and where I will go live right here for you. Please be kind to one another. That's my biggest wish for you today. Be safe and be kind.